Hello, thank you so much for coming to the Sashiko Live Streaming. This is Atsushi. I think the audio is good, right? Just let me check it. That'd be good. This is the live. Sorry. This is the live streaming where I talk about Sashiko while doing the Sashiko stitching. This is not a lecture, webinar, tutorials, or those teaching opportunities. So if you could bring some of your project to stitch together, that'd be great. I am happy to answer the questions related to the stories such as culture or philosophies or Japanese things, which I don't have to stop stitching. The whole point is me keep stitching, and then you can copy what I do or learn what I do, or you can do whatever you want for that. The key is to feel safe and fun. Well, joy can be one of those. I want to have fun here. And I want to make a place to be here too. All right, I will change the camera. Oh, actually, few and I do have some. I do have some announcement, but please check the description for the coming up information, which are all, thankfully, which I really appreciate. Everything is filled right now at this moment, so it's probably not going to be a good idea to explain everything. But if you are interested, I would like to keep offering those things, so please check the link on the description area. One thing is that if you plan to go to Japan next month, if you happen to be in Kyoto during May 6th to May 12th, which I believe, my mother Keiko will have the sort of exhibition and sales event in the JR Isetan department store. It's quite big department store, and she's gonna be on the 10th floor in the event space with N Gallery. It's gonna be a very small space, but there'll be the opportunity for anybody to touch the sashiko we practice, feel it, and possibly talk to my mom too for that. So if you happen to be there, please try to, please refer to some of the information I share here. Okay, I will change the camera. Nadia, thank you so much for coming. こんにちは。ありがとうございます。Let me just make sure that that's good. There we go. Yeah, thank you so much. Thank you for the encouragement and excitement for that. It is very exciting for her and for me. Unfortunately, I cannot be there neither, so I just have to wait for the photos. But yeah, it's very, very big department store, so I think it's connected to the JR Kyoto station, if I'm not mistaken. So there'll be a lot of people coming in, visiting the stores. And there'll be one opportunity for us to introduce what we actually do. I hope that that's going to be the opportunity for even for some Japanese people to kind of learn what Sashiko is, as some Sashiko people, some Sashiko, like a newcomer to the Sashiko field, think that those Sashiko we practice is kind of the past. Not many people are doing. already, so sorry. So I hope that this exhibition will be the opportunity for them to, not learn, but come across. That'll be the word for that. Yeah, it should be a wonderful opportunity, and we'll get a good attention too. Yep, I believe so. I hope so. She has been receiving the request for last few years, to be honest. That's the owner of the gallery found her art, her Sashiko, quite good, and the owner was asking her to do the exhibition, but she could not do that because first she didn't have enough contents to make exhibition back then. Second is that she is like a one man business, one person business like me. So it was not ideal to leave the house empty for like almost a week. Now this spring we have another person joining our team as the staff, and she can be taking care of the like day-to-day stuff in Japan. So that's another thing that it's changing for this spring, which I don't know how she's gonna do it because one more person means that one more payment, and I'm not part of it. We have a completely different accounting, so not a different, completely separate accounting. So I don't know what she's doing, but the new person is actually the family member. So it's not gonna be that crazy. I hope it's not like hiring somebody out of the um, recruiting process. It's somebody who we know already. So I hope that it's gonna be a big change to what we can do. One more person means that we can do more things, technically speaking. So, yeah. Well, that's gonna be next month, actually 2 weeks from now. Wow. 2 or 3 weeks from now. She's gonna be in Kyoto for almost a week. She's gonna stay in a cheap hotel, and she's gonna commute to the department store every day. That's something. I mean, commute is more like I don't know if that's the correct way to use it, but because she's not paid, she's not paid from them. She's offering her own exhibition. But yeah, I hope that it will generate some of the attentions which she needs more, which she was very hesitant to do so last few years. So many people are so humble and hesitant. They're not really wishing or willing to come in front to show what they're doing, which I believe they should. And I believe that those who came to Japan with me agree with me that they should be more, front of the everywhere. That's how they are really good at Sashiko. But I guess that's not what it is at this moment. So today I would like to talk about one Japanese word called IWAKAN. IWAKAN can be translated as something is not right, something doesn't sit well, something is off. And we use this word a lot. 違和感を感じる。I feel 違和感 is very. I think we use it a lot. Similar word is もやもやする, but those 違和感 and もやもやする are the word that something does not sit right. Instead of saying that that's wrong or that's not correct or that's like instead of accusing, they express their feeling of something is not right. Moya, I'll just type it here. Let's say, what did I say? just a second. Ivan, just a second. Oh my god, my brain is shutting down. Iwakan, sorry, Iwakan. Iwakan. Well, this is Japanese, so just Google that. Moya moya suru. I don't think this is like, Japanese unique feeling, but it is also kind of challenging word or concept to translate. Uncomfortable is one of the very close word. But it's not quite, as Tsuchiko-san said, that it's not quite uncomfortable itself. It requires more explanation. For example, let's say that I don't have anything. I did not bring any samples. For example, some people, if I were very strict Sashiko practitioner, and if somebody said that this is Sashiko, then I may feel 違和感 because my standard would be very strict. That if I have a very strict definition what Sashiko should be, this is more like outside of the box. It doesn't sit right with. There's nothing wrong with doing this, and there's nothing calling this Sashiko, but it doesn't sit well with it. So it's not the word to create or cause any argument or dispute or direct communication to exclude somebody or to attack somebody. We express it's for us that there's something not sitting right. So it's not accusation. It's not accusation. It's not even asking to change something, but something is not right. Something is not right by our standard. So, and that's what's happening right now a lot. Like that's what I hear a lot from Japanese Sashiko artisans that I spend time with. The Sashiko introduced in English right now is, from my word, it is simplified and romanticized. So it's not the whole picture. They're just introducing a part of it. And that's why I find it's problematic when they define that as the whole picture. They're not wrong. What they're saying is not wrong, but that's not the big picture. And that's my way to translate this 違和感 into, well, that's not 違和感, I'm sorry. That's not 違和感 because I am explicitly saying that that's not simplified. That's not whole picture. When I say that explicitly, that's not もやもやする anymore. I am clarifying myself. So that's the feeling that we cannot put into word. That's the feeling that we even cannot describe it, but something gotta be strange. I just came back for the evening for a bit. Thank you, welcome back. But that chat won't let me copy to look up, and I have to new laptop, so no setting feeling. Well, 違和感 I can spell it. IWAKAN, IWAKAN. If I use phonics, that's gonna be IWAKAN. Well, IWAKAN. But that's very Japanese-like, because the goal is not to make argument to define what is right and wrong, because we don't want to cause any discomfort. But at the same time, we don't want to accept that it's natural, or it's our standard, or it's our, comfortable. It's not our comfortable category. So I very much feel that Iwakan in today's Boro. I don't say that it's wrong, because there's no such a thing as wrong in Boro, but I feel very, very, very strange to the current trend of Boro. A lot. My point is, though, today's point is that feeling which does not sit right, or that causes a little bit of uncomfortableness, that we cannot bring to the discussion or argument because it's not clearly explained, it's not clarified, but some feeling that we carry, not to the purpose of argue or exclude others, but more like to express oneself. In that, there's a truth, because there gotta be something that we cannot explain, yet there's something very, very, very true inside of that feeling. Therefore, when Japanese person say that it's, when the Japanese Sashiko artisan says that they feel iwakan, I try to look up that what is the kind of subject, what is the word, what is the outcome of what they're feeling as something not right. And without them defining what Sashiko is, I believe that we can imagine. It's not like, again, it's not the answer. It's just something we have to imagine from what they feel, and then collection of those small hint from the iwakan can form a big culture. So it's not. I am not trying to be the authority, right? Authority cannot define Sashiko. That iwakan can very much define the Sashiko, and that's the collective effort of us being in this case, us means Japanese. It requires probably the Japanese language, to feel that. English itself as language is not probably designed to do that, because I really cannot find the good way to fully explain that. So that's what I'm gonna do. That's what I would like to do. That there gotta be some of those feelings, and that those feelings, they don't speak up. So we have to be we have to get the trust first. We have to build the trust first, so that they can feel comfortable saying something uncomfortable. And I hope that some of the people may feel natural to what my mother makes and exhibit, and some people may feel that this type of iwakan when they see my mother's work. And I believe that iwakan is very important, because when they feel it, they might look up online what Sashiko really can be. And it is my very big job to collect those iwakan. So if you feel anything like that, I would like to learn. Especially if you're Japanese, I really want you to share with me. If you're not Japanese, yet if you feel something strange, I said it's a language issue. At the same time, I am not saying it's only the Japanese culture. I believe that we share something like that too. there are people like that, specific people who do not like the discussion, who do not like argument, who do not like the answers or definitions, who prefer to make it vague and unsolved. But they would like to. That doesn't mean that they accepted it. It doesn't mean that they surrender. It does not mean that they are defeated or lost or any of those things. They decided to live with it. In that, probably they accepted it. I'm sorry, I said accepted it, but that feeling is probably important for that. A sense of discomfort, something feel off, a feeling of unease, unnatural, awkward, strange from ChatGPT. Yeah, that's probably a good. That's a problem. Good ChatGPT. But once again, that does not. That is really good. That explains a lot of what I'm talking about. But I think it's not a whole. Hello from Australia, just stitching away and listening. Thank you for coming. This is what I get for studying Spanish in high school instead. I'm sorry, I'm not gonna repeat what I said, so please come back and, watch the recording. It's a whole story. I talked about it for like 15 minutes. So I'm sorry, but I'm not gonna repeat everything. How would a Japanese person express their feeling of iwakan? That is probably culture specific. They say that I feel iwakan. Iwakan 感じます。違和感です。もやもやします。違和感感じます。Yeah, they just that's the way they express the feeling of something is not right. But the direction is not to anybody specific or anything. So they're not accusing something or someone. They're not trying to even solve anything. At least they themselves are not trying to solve it as the main character. It's probably a summarize of those feelings that Tsuchiko-san's refer from the ChatGPT. But my point is, once again, is that their silence does not mean that they are okay with it. Do they express it to the person causing it, or in front of the person, or more privately? I don't. If one tells directly to the cause of the issue, then I think that's not iwakan already. It's more, specific, and that's gonna lead to the accusation or even getting for the answer. So it is very anonymously, privately. For that matter, it's behind the scene. So it's kind of, how can I say? It can be nasty for that matter, because iwakan cannot, I don't know if it can be a positive word, but something is not right. So, well, iwakan can be good. It's not 100% negative. But instead of, in comparison to the English, instead of finding a lot of argument or discussions to decide what is right, what is wrong, a lot of conversation, a lot of feeling, emotion can be shared in this form of very vague, something's not right. I'm not saying that this is a good or bad culture, but my point is that I would like to find something that it's hiding behind that feeling. It's not based on what is right and wrong. It's because based on what their value is, probably. So some people actually say that some of my Sashiko artists and Sashiko friends say that they feel very strange, which is Iwakan, to the Sashiko practiced, even in Japan, even today. And their feedback is that that's they understand that that can be categorized Sashiko, but it is very strange or uncomfortable or Iwakan to call what they do is just Sashiko. Sashiko can be more than that. It is a gut feeling about something, but it's a little lighter than that. Gut feeling is more, in my understanding, it's more like, it does not come to our gut. Iwakan is more like a very superficial, little slight. It's quite superficial. It's not like if it's gut feeling. I think we have another word for that. But it is very, very like subtle. But because it's subtle, I think it contains a lot of hint to understand what the Japanese culture, what Japanese are thinking. In fact, that's the answer that I often get when I ask the Japanese friends saying like, "What do you think about Sashiko?" Their answer can be, "I feel Iwakan." Okay, but that's not really the. That doesn't say anything. But that's the answer. They are not. They don't know. They don't plan to specify what is wrong or what is not following the Japanese culture or what is not Sashiko. But at the same time, they don't feel. They feel something is not right. And those are not really translated or introduced because we cannot introduce it. We cannot introduce it verbally like this because there's no contents specified. There's no logic. there's no there's no logic behind it. It's a hidden message which is protected by the ambiguity. Wow, I really don't like the Japanese for that matter. Well, that's why I'm in the US. That's why I'm probably speaking in English. But either putting my feeling aside, that is what it is. So I would like to make sure to collect those iwakan from as many people as possible so that we can, but my iwakan can be quite different from those iwakan from the other Japanese because I learned how to explicitly share my uncomfortableness. So I specify that. Like Sashiko introduced in English is not wrong, but not enough is probably it started as my iwakan. Somebody saying that this is the one stop for all the Sashiko, and I feel no, that's not right. But that started as a iwakan. The good point is that when we have iwakan, we can pretend that nothing is going on. And I probably pretended for a long time that nothing was going on. But because I clarified, I made my point so clear that those people I talk about, they do not want to talk to me because the issue has become more vivid, more specified, and they can take what I say as the accusation to them. So, you know, probably they don't want to talk about it, which I understand. So myself itself is not really a good comparison here or good example here to do it. But because of that, I would like to make sure to collect others Iwakan. Okay, that's a long. I'm sorry, I'm gonna just stop because I gotta read. Here in Brazil, most of us don't have access to traditional Sashiko materials. I'm part of a Japanese Brazilian group of Sashiko. I ended up using cross-stitch thread and French embroidery needle, so the results are different. But it's important for me to always keep a reference to Japanese art. Yeah, it's it's really difficult to ship something to Brazil. I have done that, and that wasn't really easy. Sometimes there's one person who is teaching Sashiko in Brazil, I think, and I'm pretty sure that she can teach on behalf of me. I cannot, I don't know if I have her permission to say her name here, so I'm not gonna say right now. But she took my class, she learned from me, and her stitchings are, she understands what I'm trying to share. So, of course, the materials are important, and that'd be great if they could contribute to the, sustainability of this supplies. But at the same time, it's not. My goal is not to. My goal is to spread this as far as possible. So do I think that my feeling about Sashiko in English is now stronger than Iwakan? Yes. Yes. Stronger may be a bit of a different word, but more clear, more easier, more explicit. I don't know if I'm using this word correctly. Explicit is the word for that, I think. I clarify. I sit down with that Iwakan and I kept analyzing why I feel that way. And by this process, though, by this process of putting my feeling into logic or word or into the light, I lose some sense of what I was feeling. But that's okay. That's okay because in this culture, if I were, not a if, because my mission is to introduce what Sashiko is in this language, I cannot just, ask them to imagine it or guess it. So it is more, I am different. But there are many Japanese who keeps that ambiguity and subtleness, and they are more, for that matter, Japanese Sashiko like than me. I am not. I am just different for that matter. I'm very far from the traditional Sashiko, to be honest, and that's okay because I know where that exists. Maybe what you're feeling is your culture being appropriate without giving due reference. Yes, probably so. I do have a video about cultural appropriation, and in the video, don't assume what I say in the video. Please watch that first and then react to that. There are many people who think that what I should be saying, so they react differently. But it is I don't I think it's a little too dangerous, too rough to categorize what I'm feeling as the cultural appropriation because it's a little different story. It's more like something is missing, yet they how can I explain this? I gotta be explain that. So when you go to KFC, let's say you get a fried chicken, right? And if you did not get the thigh, if everything was the drumsticks, wings, and also the what do you call that? I'm sorry. Oh, I forgot that. The biggest one. You may find that as a problem later on, but in the first sense, if you are kind of new to this KFC, you may find that something's wrong in that basket, which is the thigh missing. But until that you know the difference between the part of the KFC where you can eat, you it might take some time to realize it. Or if the KFC street started selling dumpling, saying this is a fried chicken, your reaction is no, that's not the fried chicken, that's dumpling. But if you don't know those culture, if you're not strong, if you're not familiar with expressing your own uncomfortableness or bring it to the argument, you may just bring those uncomfortableness back to the home and say like, well, I felt so weird that at that KFC selling the dumplings, fried chicken. Why do I always talk about food? Am I talking about philosophies? Well, it's the true story though. I love Thai, right? What is that called? I forgot that. The biggest one. I don't like that. It's like white meat. I like dark meat. I used to like dark meat, and I no white meat is great, but I used to like dark meat, and the thigh is my favorite. But there was the 8-piece basket that I did not have thigh, and I finished it with the family, with my friends back then, and then I just realized like, wow, where was the thigh? And that was very strange. And now it's not probably the issue to clarify that. Oh, the breast. Thank you. Thank you. Breast is not my favorite. Food meta food metaphors are popular here. Yeah. Um, I think the food metaphor is because it's 9 o'clock to me, and you know it's right before I go to sleep. I had a dinner about 3 hours ago, so I'm hungry a little bit. Exploring your Iwakan with Sashiko in English help you find your path with Sashiko. Help you find your Ikigai. See that. So you're getting there. You're getting there. You should really you are getting the export. Collect all the collect the you probably know know those things better than I do. I don't know if we have DoorDash here. I know there's one Uber person, but I don't know if they do Uber Eats. So don't resist. Please don't resist. Please keep it going. So now you can add the Iwakan to your dictionary to make those. I find it kind of poetic too, because it sounds like saying something, but it's not saying anything. It's so philosophical too. But yeah, that's my goal. I mean, it is very controversial because if I could, explain what Iwakan is, it can lose the sense of it. It can lose the essence of it already. So I have to be very, very, very careful because articulating the Iwakan to transform to the problem is not already what they're asking for or what they're wishing for. Well, we are not. That's not what we are wishing. That's not what we wish for. So the process of collecting those Iwakan has to be quite careful. And because it's sort of sensitive or probably very personal, we need the trust first. So it's not easy, but this is my kind of understanding of what is missing. I started feeling that first, and then I went through the logical part to explain what is going on. And now I sort of eliminated that Iwakan from my message because it's very vague. But now I start feeling that, in fact, that Iwakan is the key to share what Sashiko really can be. See, this story cannot be summarized into one sentence. Like many ask me like what is Sashiko, and they expect me to answer in one sentence, but no, that's kind of not possible. I wonder how ChatGPT will bridge these languages. I'm very happy that the more people can access to the language and more information in different language, that's a great thing. And probably the AI will take care of it too, but there's the language part of in the communication we have one is a language itself, and the second part is the kind of like expectation that language can create. Really, really simple example is that it took a while for me to learn that how are you does not mean that how are you, right? What's up doesn't mean what's up. They're not asking. How are you does not mean that they're not caring. They're not interested in how you're doing. It's just a figure of speech. So understanding how are you is the language part. If they do not know any English, how means, each word means something, and it takes a while to learn that. But understanding how are you itself does not mean that they can communicate well because their cultural part missing it. I don't know if there's anybody who answer how are you seriously. I'm sorry about that. I mean, I don't minimize what you're doing, but that's my understanding of English. You don't want to hear like how are you today, and if let's say I go to Aldi, and if the cashier said that how are you doing today, and then if I say, well, in fact, that today is not a good. That's not what they're expecting. That's not what I'm expecting. It has to be that's in the figure of speech, right? And what's up doesn't mean that we have to update everything. It took a while though. It took a while for me to understand. Yeah, smoking was really good. I had a smoker friend, and smoking like the few minutes is kind of a very good cultural exchange session because we talk while smoke. We talked I don't smoke anymore, but and he felt something was off. And I did not explain, but he realized that I was a little off from his normal because I was from Japan. And he used a lot of effort, but he taught me what is the normal here. It can be fun to deviate from the social norm and give really silly answers. I wouldn't do it. I am strange enough to be here already. I am, I look Asian, which I am Asian, so I am quite different in the central Pennsylvania already. So I will not engage on that kind of things, but it may be fun. Not maybe, it is probably fun, just. But that can be a nice YouTube video. No matter what happened, if somebody asks you, how are you today? You explain everything, how you're doing. Wow, that is annoying. Like, imagine that. You go outside, you see your neighbor, probably your neighbor say, hello, how are you? And you are expected to say, good, thank you, or, fine. What if? What if you start explaining how good or how bad your day is while the neighbor is walking in front of your house? That would be so strange. How are you doing? Good, but it would be better if I had a pie right now. Would you like to join me? No. Yep. Those are the social norm, and that's something that the translation part is not gonna fix it. But AI will explain that in the future. AI should explain that because they have those knowledges, just not the way. It is crazy that this world is changing so fast. Like, why are we doing the hand stitching while that we don't even have to, drive the car? Well, because of that, probably many people are leaning to this hand stitching or hand moving because we don't have to drive. So I often make a joke saying like, you cannot stitch while driving. There might be the time we can stitch while driving. I keep saying like, don't. In the workshop, I often say that you can close your eyes because the worst case scenario while you're stitching, the worst case scenario is stitching your fingers and then get little tiny blood. But don't do it while you're driving, and you cannot stitch while driving. Soon, maybe, even if you're sitting in the driver's seat, you may be able to stitch. I don't know if I want to stitch now, but the key is to be silly but still play. I don't have that ability. It depends on how well and how long you've known your neighbor. Maybe, but do you think that they're always asking for like? I think how are you if even the neighbor? Well, you probably know that if they mean or not, but I used to need a while. I was stuck in the traffic. That is great. Well, that's possible. Yeah, I guess. If it's a New York traffic, yeah, I probably imagine that we don't have any traffic. We have only traffic lights, so that few minutes of, not a few minutes, few, even less than minutes of waiting star stitching is not gonna make sense much. But yeah, we have a lot of difference, and that's what makes us so interesting. That's what makes everything so, so profound. But there are people who are trying to simplify those things, and we gotta approach those things differently. But Japanese, most likely, they won't articulate their feeling, because their feeling is not gonna be sort of true if they articulate it. So my statement that saying like Sashiko introduced in English is simplified and romanticized, that statement itself is already a little bit simplified too. To match what I would like to share. So thank you so much for coming. I'll be done soon. It's 9 o'clock. So it's 10 o'clock. So after this much thread, I will finish today. Thank you. Well, this is the place that I would like to make by do. If I make a mistake now, it's gonna be not a mistake, but if I go a different route from now, it's a very hectic way. Like, well, I mean, it's New York thing, but you're driving in New Jersey and you did not plan to go to the George Washington Bridge or Lincoln Tunnel, yet you made a wrong turn that you had to go through. So you have to pay for the toll and you have to come back to go to the different place. Making a mistake at this point in Sashiko is like that. It's not wrong. I mean, it's actually wrong, but it takes more time to do it. If you've known your neighbors long enough to be friends, you can often say exactly how you feel. Besides, they probably already know. Just keep it short, right? Like that's the whole point. The keep it short is the key. That's not a expectation. It's kind of a joke, though. It's the joke that it's not a joke. It's the analogy of how. So what I have been talking last 45 minutes is the difference between the culture and language, and I explained that there are many aspects of difference, and that is the things that we have to understand that before we start calling ourselves as a master of something. So one may be able to like get a super high score on SAT in English, but it does not mean that they can communicate well in English or in the United States. Communication and languages are a little different. It's not exactly the same thing. So those apply to Japanese Sashiko too. Okay. Okay. Where did I start from? I don't think I made a mistake. That's good. Thank you for tonight. It was so good to come back after many weeks away. Too much work. Oh, welcome back. I was probably away last whole month, so welcome back. I'm also back too. I just recently came back. Okay. it's about time. I hope next week I'll it's a little bit. It might take another week or so. And Asanoha is done. Asanoha is done. So I don't know what I'm gonna do after this. It's gonna be the. I started doing this project, this Sashiko, when I felt so cold in the house, and I wanted to have something to wrap my clothes and shoulder. Not a wrap. I'm sorry, my neck and shoulder. So it's gonna be like a poncho-ish, I guess. But I'm like, what to do here? I gotta be a little creative, I guess. All right. Thank you so much for coming into the Sashiko Live Streaming. If you're watching this as the archive, and if you have any questions, please leave the comment. I try to my best to answer that. And what else? Yeah, if you could click the like button, that'd be very much appreciated to keep my channel's health. I have a big fan, big follower who always give me the dislike button. That person might be the biggest fan I have. I just don't like it, but you like to keep my channel's health nice. So that'd be great if you could give me the like button. And if you like it, please subscribe that channel too. I don't really make videos. I am not good at making videos. I'm trying my best to make videos, but it's taking Logan. It's really, really challenge to me. So this is not, this is live streaming. I'm not editing anything, so it's not that difficult. But if I were to edit something, that becomes so bad. Well, it's the practice. All right. Thank you so much for coming. I hope you have a good night. If you're in the west, not west. I'm sorry, in the American coast, either south or north. And if you're in the other side, I hope you have a good day too. All right. Thank you. Bye bye.